Eagles fan, we need to have a serious conversation. If you are feeling a bitter taste in your mouth after this Black Friday, know that you are not alone. The loss to the Chicago Bears was not just another lost game. It was the confirmation something is fundamentally broken in the Philadelphia Eagles offense. What we are seeing on the field in recent weeks is not just a rough patch, it is an identity crisis. We went from a comfortable position where we were the #1 seed, the owners of the conference, to abruptly falling to the 3rd position in the NFC. 2 losses in a row, first to the Dallas Cowboys and now to the Bears, have exposed wounds that perhaps the previous victories were hiding. And when the team loses, the first thing the fans want is a culprit. All eyes turn to offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo, but the decision head coach Nick Sirianni made about his future will leave a lot of people scratching their head. Let's be direct. The offense is not functioning. It is not clicking. Whether you want to blame the players, the coaching staff, or the alignment of the planets, at the end of the day, what matters is the scoreboard. And the scoreboard says that this offense is not where it needs to be for anyone dreaming of going deep in the playoff and contending for a Super Bowl. This has been a talking point all season. But while the wins were coming, it was easy to sweep the dirt under the rug. Now, with consecutive losses, the rug has been lifted, and the dirt is there for everyone to see. Naturally, the pressure for Kevin Patullo to lose his play-calling duty reached a maximum level on Friday night. The fans demanded changes, new blood, new ideas. However, if you expected Nick Sirianni to bow to public pressure and cut the head off his offensive coordinator in the post-game locker room, you were mistaken. Asked repeatedly by reporters if there would be a change in who calls the offensive plays, Sirianni doubled down. He was categorical, saying, "No, we are not changing the play call." That phrase landed like a bomb for those expecting an immediate revolution, but he completed it by saying, "But we will evaluate everything." That is the official stance of the franchise now. They are using the fact that they played on Friday to take advantage of this mini-bye, this long weekend, to do a deep self-analysis. Sirianni reinforced that in football it is never about a single person. You win as a team, and you lose as a team. But is this patience a virtue or stubbornness? To understand why the fan base is so furious, we need to look at the cold, hard numbers since the bye week in Week 9. The Eagles' offensive performance fell off a cliff. Since returning from the break, the team scored 10 points against the Packers, 16 points against the Lions, 21 points against the Cowboys, and now a mere 15 points against Chicago. We are talking about a pitiful average, unworthy of the talent we have on the roster, with names like Jalen Hurts, Saquon, Barkley, AJ Brown, and Devonta Smith scoring 15 points should be prohibited. The offense is anemic, predictable, and frankly boring to watch. The lack of creativity in the red zone and the inability to sustain long drives are killing the team slowly. Looking specifically at the Friday game, we saw more of the same. Jalen Hurts was not disastrous, but he was also not the hero we needed. He completed 19 of 34 passes for 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Those are average numbers for a game of this magnitude. And the ground game, well, Saquon Barkley, our biggest weapon, was completely neutralized, running 13 times for only 56 yards. When your main threat on the ground cannot break the first defensive line, the entire offensive scheme collapses. We are left with that feeling of what if? What if a few passes had connected? What if Barkley had broken a tackle? But living on what ifs does not win championships. The reality is that with 12 games played and only 5 remaining, the margin for error is gone. Here enters the most complex argument of this whole story. Would firing Kevin Patullo, or taking the play-calling responsibility away from him, be the magic solution? Or would it just be putting a band-aid on a compound fracture? Analysts point out that at this stage of the season, changing the offensive command could do more harm than good. There are 5 games left. Installing a new play caller means a new learning curve, new terminology, and a new rhythm. Chaos could set in for good. It is very easy to point the finger at Patullo and turn him into the scapegoat, but the problems go beyond him. We have an offensive line that is getting beaten up physically, a running game that stopped working, and execution errors by the players themselves. But my friends, there is a stat that came out after the game that is impossible to ignore and justifies all the anger of the fan. Sheil Kapadia of The Ringer brought a statistic that is a punch in the stomach. He pointed out that the Eagles' offense ranks 28th in the league in success rate. For those who do not know this, measures the efficiency of each play in keeping the offense moving forward. We are producing positive plays at a lower rate than offenses like the New Orleans Saints and the New York Jets. Yes, you heard that right. We are offensively worse than the Jets in efficiency. Kapadia went further, saying this is the worst offensive success rate for an Eagles team through Week 13 in the last 20 years. That is not just bad, it is historic in a negative way. These numbers clearly show that the problems are structural. The tactical scheme has serious flaws that need to be cleaned up. However, there are glimmerings of hope. For example, much was said about A.J. Brown's route tree during the season, but he has been red hot over the last 2 games, being productive, even with the chaos around him. This suggests that perhaps small adjustments can be made without the need to blow up the entire coaching staff. Sirianni's bet is on continuity and course correction, not revolution. He believes this mini-buy will give the coaching staff enough time to lock themselves in a room, watch the game film, and find solutions, clean up the schematic. We also cannot be blind to the physical factor. The text of the news and the post-game analyses remind us that the offensive line is injured. When your blockers are not 100%, it does not matter who is calling the play. If the quarterback has no time or the running back has no space, the play will fail. Changing the coordinator will not magically heal the injuries on the offensive line. Maybe Sirianni is seeing this, that the problem is more execution and health than the design of the plays themselves. But explaining this to an impatient fanbase accustomed to winning is an almost impossible task. We are entering the final stretch. There are 5 games left, 5 battles to try to recover the number 1 seed, or at least ensure that we do not enter the playoffs as a dead team walking. The decision to keep Kevin Patullo is Nick Sirianni's final bet of this regular season. If the offense improves, he will be seen as a calm leader who did not panic. If the offense continues to be anemic and we are eliminated early, this decision not to change anything after the loss to the Bears will be remembered as the moment the season ended for good. The situation is clear. The offense is broken. The efficiency is at a relegation team level, but the technical command remains the same. The promise is to evaluate everything, but the immediate action is to keep everything as it is. Now, I want to know your opinion because you are the boss of this channel. Do you agree with Nick Sirianni that changing the coordinator now would bring more problems than solution? Or do you think the Eagles should have risked everything and changed the command of the offense to try to save the season? Does that success rate worse than the Jets scare you? Leave your comment down below. Let's debate with respect and passion. Don't forget to leave a like if you liked this deep analysis and subscribe to the channel. We will be back as soon as we have more news from this evaluation that the team is doing. Until next time.